I see Josh more as a secondary playmaker in the vein of like a Joe Ingles. I have him as a lottery pick. People should be pumped about Josh Giddey, I think. He's really good.
Really quick, before I begin, if you guys can smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, this seriously makes a huge difference to my videos and lets YouTube know to recommend this video to a brand new audience. So thank you so much for doing that, and let's begin.
Okay, let's talk about Josh Giddey. Where are we at with my beautiful, sweet Australian son?
Well, I saw you posted. You're courtside. You don't know better than me. You see basketball in person. Another triple-double last week. So I feel with this recent success, he's playing with more confidence, if that's possible. He seems a little bit more assertive on his drives, not settling with floaters as much. I just feel like he gets bailed out a lot by his vision, and that's not totally a negative, but when he drives into a wall and makes a quick, albeit like forced decision to kick out once he's trapped, he does have those passing instincts to kind of know where guys are. And I don't like that he still picks up his dribble with pressure once he gets over the half court. For the positives, the pick and roll playmaking is very real. He places bounce passes perfectly to the roll man, or can get some breathing room, use hang dribble and attack. I like the progression of where it is, but another guy that's kind of like sneaking up lottery into top 10 conversations lately.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like I've had Josh there for, even before the triple doubles, right? Like I've had him, borderline lottery, borderline top 10 even for, it feels like a month and a half now. The thing with Josh is his handle is not awesome right now. And it's in part because I think he's still like growing into his frame a little bit. Like he's 6'8". He's not that skinny anymore. Like I will say that, like having seen him up close, like he's probably 200 pounds at this point. Like I think he's listed at, 185, 190 or so. Like he's pretty solid right now. But not too solid to where there won't be further, development in terms of the frame. He's still like a child teenager that is strong and is like growing, but he's not a man that's like 6'9", 240 pounds. Like it seems like every single big in the Australian league here is like Daniel Johnson.
They're bruisers. They're bullies, man. They push you around in that league.
The other part of it is too, the referees let them. Like,
it's Australian rules football just on a basketball court. That's all.
Oh, I mean, like, it's not that bad, but like seriously, the Australian league referees like really let some pushing and shoving go underneath the basket from bigs. It's pretty funny, and that stuff kind of ends up filtering its way into what happens when these guys drive, right? So like Giddey will get contacted and get like sent to the ground because A, these guys are 6'10", 240 pounds and like these big enormous Australian dudes sometimes, and then B, he's not quite there yet in terms of his strength. So I think his handle is not great yet, and honestly I think the handle in the shot or the two swing skills, I actually do think he's going to shoot it, having seen the jumper up close. There's nothing broken. Like, it looks fine. He's shooting, I think, something like 32% as a shooter this year. From three, he takes like something like 3-point attempts a game. Let me pull up the numbers now. 31% on 3.6 3-point attempts per game. Nothing looks broken with the shot. He's just not like, he hasn't repped through it yet. Like, he doesn't look wildly comfortable taking them quite yet. Really good rebounder, like loves to like get in there and try to play tough, right? Like he has no problem absorbing contact. He has no problem in terms of like his competitiveness levels. Like, he wants to be the guy that's like going in there, crashing the glass and starting the break, right? He loves to grab and go and then try and make a play out in transition where, like you said, like pinpoint passer, like absolute pinpoint passer, can put it on a dime, like absolutely nobody's business. The thing is though, that like these smaller guards, like the game that I saw, like Mitch McCarron like got underneath him, and Mitch McCarron's like, real chance to be on the Australian national team, like at the Olympics, like really, really good guard. And really high level defensive guard. Really, like Mitch McCarron like got up underneath him and made him super uncomfortable as a ball handler. And I think that that's where the next evolution for him is going to be, like tightening up his handle, getting counter moves for what happens when someone gets kind of up underneath you like that. He's very comfortable, like changing paces, but it's still just like not all that tight, and it can get a little bit loose from time to time. So tightening up the handle is going to be critical. Shooting it's going to be critical. And then the final thing with Giddey right now is like he's just not a good defender right now. Like he ends up kind of outside of his defensive stance. But again, it's not from want to. It's from he just like isn't physically there to where he can really defend in this league.
Some of the things you're saying, it's interesting because we're saying the same things about LaMelo Ball, who's in that league, and a lot of the criticism of him didn't care defensively, and he didn't. And you reference this a lot of there's
and Josh
few
cares
possessions where
defensively too. But yeah,
the ball would be reversed, and LaMelo would turn down and tie his shoe like during the play. So he's not doing that. But we were worried about LaMelo defensively. We were worried about his jumper, the creation and vision. I'd take LaMelo over that in the handle. But my point is that in that Australian league, people think very highly of Josh Giddey and think that he's going to pan out. And some of those red flags aren't as concerning to me. It's more, can the jumper get there and speed up and be able to use his body a little bit better and not fall as much in the lane, and maybe not getting a clothesline from a 6'8", 260-pound Australian will help as well.
The difference between, and I actually do get asked this, like in Australia here, like what is the difference between Giddey and LaMelo? Because like Josh Giddey's numbers are not that far off of what LaMelo's were last year. In like, for instance, in the assist column, I think in rebound column, like I think it's actually a little bit better for Giddey. The difference between Giddey and LaMelo is in the handle. LaMelo's ability to simultaneously shift gears, flip his hips, like essentially just break down defenders and create and get into the lane is just in a different world than where Josh is. And that's totally fine. I see Josh more as a secondary playmaker in the vein of like a Joe Ingles long term. Maybe like a better passing, slightly worse shooting Joe Ingles, because Joe Ingles has turned into like a 45% three-point shooter. Like I think Josh probably has a good shot to shoot like 37-38% from three while being like a little bit better of a passer. But like it's more bigger wing who can initiate your offense occasionally, especially on like second side ball reversals, as opposed to like super high level point guard who's gonna do a bunch of stuff. And then Josh is also going to be able to lead the break and like create transition offense and things like that. Like it's closer to what Lonzo does in the NBA than what LaMelo does in the NBA. And Lonzo's a good player, but LaMelo is just like kind of a different dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I do. He's throwing full court scoop passes and one touch darts into the middle of the lane. And to add to your Giddey point a little bit, it's not a criticism to say he could be a secondary facilitator and play in the wing a little bit. And I think the last time we talked about Giddey, some Australian fans took it personally. That's like an asset to have a second guy who can run the offense once the ball is swung. And we've said similar things about Cade Cunningham. Doesn't have to play on the ball all the time. If you are the next line of offense there on a ball reversal, or it's a pick and roll, hit somebody in the corner, he can make the next play. That's something you want on the court for a different look, perhaps. Yeah,
and the other thing with Giddey is, like, everyone I've talked to around here just, like, raves about work ethic, competitiveness levels, like, understands how to go about his business in, like, a really professional way already at 18 years old. So I feel good about Giddey. Like, I would take him, somewhere between, 9 and 14 or so. Like, I have him as a lottery pick and would feel good. And I think that Australian fans should feel, like, genuinely really excited about Giddey. Like, he's a really, really good prospect. Like, he's done way more as a prospect than what Dante Exum, like, ever did over here in Australia. So, like, people should be pumped about Josh Giddey, I think. He's really good.
People are pumped, it seems. Anyway, if you do your social media searches, I think I'm probably in the same-ish range. I want to say a little bit lower. He would be the first international guy for me that I would take.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think he is the first international guy that I would take.